much the same as the DVO sharpen filter, protects the edges and ignores anything that's out of focus or graduated. So we get this very high quality upsizing with very little aliasing. In the filter settings, you see we can control the sharpness, and I'm just going to back that off a little bit. I think it's a little bit over the top on this shot, so I'm going to back that off a little bit there. So again, plenty of parameters to really get a good looking image. And then we go ahead and do some color correction. And in this case, we have a note to do that. So I'll just select the note and we'll just drop a color correction on top. Bring it up, and that gives us quite a nice looking upsample. Okay, so there we have quite a good looking image. Let's just play that with the resize and the color correction in there. I think it's a little bit grainy, so I'm going to just go to Enhance, Grain. I'll tell you one thing we haven't shown you yet. We haven't shown you adjustment tracks. This material is already processed. We've got the grading on there. It may be that I want to do the entire collection of shots. So what I can do is come down to the toolbar, add a new layer at the top, and then by selecting that layer, I can insert an adjustment track. So Shift B in there. So this is like, you can see that there's no media in there, so we're still looking at the same media, but this allows me to do new corrections, noise reduction, any of the tools that we've looked at across several frames if I want to. And so I'm just going to go in here, choose grain, load that up, and apply that. One of the benefits of this, of course, is that it's working off of a cache, so it improves the performance of the system. So let's just load that in. There's my grain tool. Actually, the medium default that it came up with looks pretty good, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to leave that. Let's take it back to the beginning and see what that looks like. So we've got sharpening on there, we've got the upscale, and the sharpening's in the upscale, and we've got the color correction, and then we've added a little bit of grain reduction on top at the default settings. And if we just take that back to the original material, you'll see that very high quality upscale. There would be no problem with broadcasting that, so it's a great way to repurpose the mountains of SD material sitting around in various libraries. There's one other tool in the DVO Convert package, my favorite actually, and we're going to use that on this next clip. So this material needed to go back to film. Again, another Digital Vision customer in New York this time. And this material needed to go back to film, but it was shot to 59:9:4, so it's electronic. And if we look at some of the motion sequences here, you'll see that it's got very noticeable field artifacts on it. And of course, it's at the wrong field rate anyway. So we need to convert this material from 59:9:4 back to a progressive format, and this project's 23:9:8, so that's what we're going to convert it to. So I'm going to go to Convert and Twister and load that into my user effects area. And you can see it's already applied a setting, but I need to check. Okay, it's applied it from 50 interlace to 23:9:8, but I want it to go from 59:9:4 to 23:9:8 progressive. Color space is indeed linear, and you can see if we can find the same shot. What's happening is that because we've changed it from 30 frames to 24 frames, if I just shrink that section down for you, you'll see at the end there is an area that's red that will never render, and that's because that's the difference in length of the clip when we reduce it from 30 frames down to 24. And if I can just find that early motion for you and play that back, you'll see very, very smooth motion as these dolphins come through the frame. None of that steppiness that people are used to seeing. And of course, all of those field artifacts have been fixed. So we're regenerating frames from the fields of the camera. So this material was never shot, was never frame-based, it was shot in fields, and we've now generated frames from that information using the motion detection algorithms that Digital Vision is so famous for. Okay, let's close that project down and move on to something else.